joys, and our connections. Allow us rest when we need rest. Enable us to see the sacred in each person we encounter. Show us mercy in our humanity. Let us love more fully than we thought possible. Let us not be quick on the draw, ready to retaliate, escalate, assassinate. Let our collective fervour for justice eclipse institutional concerns. Let us trust and follow the wisdom of those who have been marginalised. Let us persevere in creating safe places for the young and the old and everyone in between to be together. Let us stand for love and with love, following the way of love as best we're able. Let us not fear in experiential spirituality. Let us listen to the wondrous bodies you gave us. Let us hear your still small voice within and tangibly feel you with us. Let us discern your guidance. Let us abide in and with you. Show us what you're doing so we can work together. Move where you will, when you will, in whatever way you will. Come and fill this borough and all its people with your presence. As we commence this ordinary council session, let the light of understanding illuminate our discussions, and let the warmth of compassion guide our decisions. May our shared commitment to the well-being of Castle Point be a beacon that lights our path forward. I offer this blessing for a fruitful and harmonious council meeting. In the tapestry of the borough, each thread represents a unique story, a distinctive journey. Let us, in our shared responsibilities, weave a narrative of inclusivity, where the concerns of all are heard and the aspirations of every resident find a place in the fabric of our communal life. May we be blessed with wisdom, understanding, and the strength to work together for the greater good of Castle Point. Amen, and so it is.
Amen. Thank you, Reverend Tanya. Before continuing with the meeting, I'm sure all present would wish to join me in remembering our friend and colleague, Councillor John Payne, a gentleman who passed away last Thursday after a short illness. Councillor John Payne was first elected to the council in May 2016, representing Canvey Island North Ward, and he continued to serve residents right up until his death last week. I appreciate everyone wishes to extend their deepest sympathies to Councillor Janice Payne and their son Daniel on their sad loss. And I'd like you all to stand with me in remembering John. Thank you all. Okay, so we shall begin with item 1. Apologies for absence, Ms Horgan.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. We have apologies for absence from Councillor Mrs Egan, Councillor Withers, Councillor Harvey, Councillor Andrew and Jackie Thornton, Councillor Tom Skip, Councillor Tom Skip, I beg your pardon, Councillor Skip, Councillor Tom Gibson, Councillor Clive Walter. I think that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. And in the members' interests? Okay. And item 3, are the minutes of the ordinary meeting held on the 11th of October agreed as a correct record? Thank you. Okay. So moving on to earlier today, this morning, I had the enormous honour to meet and welcome to the Borough Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal, who visited the Borough. Her Royal Highness the Princess Royal, who visited Canvey Coast Watch on Canvey Island this morning, which was a wonderful, very exciting event with the Lord Lieutenant. Also, the Mayor's annual charity community carol concert at the Salvation Army, the Temple at Hadley, is to support cancer research. Cancer research will take place this Sunday, the 3rd of December, starting at 6 p.m. You're all very welcome to join us. And I'll be hosting the Mayor's Schools Charity Christmas concerts next Thursday, the 7th of December, at Waterside Farm Leisure Centre. You have a choice of 3 performances, 10:45 a.m, 2 p.m, 7:30 p.m, and the tickets can be purchased from either of our 2 leisure centres, Runnymede and Waterside, on the online Castle Point Leisure portal as well. Please support the reverse advent calendar details that were included in last week's member brief. And the Mayor's Annual Business Awards have been launched. The categories for this year include the Business of the Year Award, the Startup Business of the Year Award, the Online Business of the Year, Environmental Impact / Sustainability Award / Green Business of the Year, the Hospitality and Leisure Business Award, a Health and Beauty Award, the Community Champion Award, and the Rising Star Young Business Person of the Year. And the closing date for applications is on the 26th of January. Moving on to item 5, we have a valid public question to the Leader of the Council, and it's been received and set out in your agenda. If I can remind everyone of the procedure, the question is asked and answered. There is no discussion on the question or answer, and the Chief Executive, will you please ask the question on behalf of Mr. Quatermain? Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. In mid-October, members of the Friends of Canvey Lake were incredibly concerned when 2 of our members reported that some people had been seen attacking the wildlife on Canvey Lake and caused the death of several geese and injuries to other animals. These members and several others have worked incredibly hard to help the wildlife on the lake, and now many residents are concerned about the risk of the good work being undone by mindless violence. In light of this, please could you let the people of Canvey know what work the council is doing in partnership with other agencies to help to reduce the risk of incidents like this happening again?
Thank you, and I'll ask the Leader to reply.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Thank you for allowing me to stay seated again tonight. Thank you for your question, Mr. Quatermain. I share your outrage and the cruelty and damage caused to wildlife on Canvey Lake. These actions are unacceptable. May I remind you of my response to the previous questions regarding Canvey Lake? These should be directed to Canvey Town Council. However, I repeat my previous answer. Castle Point Council will continue to work with Canvey Town Council through the Common Liaison Committee to improve Canvey Lake and its wildlife. I would also suggest that any member of the public that witnesses such outrageous actions as you have suggested should actually call Essex Police. Most people don't realise that Essex Police do have a wildlife crime officer, and any actions which you have suggested is a wildlife crime. So members of the public can dial 999 and that will be passed on to the wildlife crime officer. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Item 6, there have been no questions from councillors, no business from last meeting, and there are no urgent decisions taken by Cabinet. Item 9, recommendations from Cabinet. We have an item to deal with concerning Council Tax Reduction Scheme and Exceptional Hardship Fund Scheme, and a report has been circulated. If I can ask Councillor Mountford as the Cabinet Member for Resources to deal with the item. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. The recommendation from Cabinet is to make no changes to the council tax reduction and exceptional hardship fund for the years 24 to 25. These schemes link to the council's priorities and objectives of efficient and effective customer-focused services. Members note the performance and spend information relating to 23-24 CTR scheme in the appendices A, B and C. There are no changes in either schemes, so I submit for approval to adopt both schemes with effect from the 1st of April 2024. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Blackwell, will you second on the recommendations?
I'd second the motion. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
And Council, are the recommendations agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Item 10, there are no references from Scrutiny or Policy and Scrutiny. Item 11, the Transformation Matters variation of calendar meetings. If I could ask the Chief Executive to present the report before us, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members, this report comes to you this evening in order to vary and add in additional dates to the municipal calendar between now and the end of the municipal year. The dates are as set out in paragraph 5.1.
Thank you. Councillor, the leaders to move, the Councillor Gibson, no, Councillor, the
Thank you,
leader
Madam
is
Mayor.
to move the recommendation.
I would move the recommendation.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd happily second that. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
You. And Council, are you in agreement of the recommendations? Agreed. Thank you. Item 12, the report of the Leader of the Council. Over to you, Councillor Blackwell.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Madam Mayor and members, at the last council meeting I reported the success of Castle Point Leisure in reaching the finals of the National Fitness Awards. I'm delighted to report that Waterside Farm Leisure Centre won the Best Gym of the South Award National Fitness Awards in Leicester on Friday the 24th of November. Waterside faced strong competition from over 250 operators applied from the south of England, with just 7 leisure centres reaching the finals from across the private and public sector. Winners of this award don't have to offer the biggest gym, the newest facilities, or offer the most expensive kit to succeed. But you do have to have the drive, passion and commitment to create a business with proving to be an essential part of the community you serve. In short, the judge felt we had a facility to be proud of, and members, that's the award that they won, and I think we should all be very proud of what they did. It don't stop there, the good news, what our leisure centres are actually doing, and we should be proud of them. I'm pleased to report another success for our leisure team. This time, Castle Point Swim Academy was singled out as this year's winner at the Star Swim Academy Awards held in October. Because of its commitment to bringing the community together to raise awareness of swimming, winning this award is a huge achievement and acknowledges the ongoing determination the leisure team has to develop and grow the Council Swim Academy. I would like to thank in particular Jo Lane and her swimming team for winning this award. Now this award is really heavy, but it's an amazing award, and I think for a national award, and I think for a small borough, we are so lucky to have the staff we have in our leisure centres. We really are. I'm also pleased to report progress is being made on a number of projects. The contract for Thorney Bay Pavilion has now been let, and the works will commence in the new year. Also to commence in the new year is the works to the paddocks to extend the life of a much loved facility. And planned maintenance is underway to redecorate Runnymede Hall to complete in time for the peak wedding season. And at Knightswick Car Park is now under the control of Castle Point Council, and the new machines are in and working. On the subject of car parking, once again there will be free car parking in all Castle Point car parks, now including Knightswick Centre car park, from the 16th of December through to the 26th of December. to help local shopkeepers increase their trade. A meeting of the Flood Resilience Forum took place earlier this week. A meeting is to be arranged in the new year with the agencies to review the 6-point plan that was developed after the 2014 flood and to progress on the recommendations in the Section 19 investigation on October 21 flooding incidents with primarily affected properties on the mainland. Congratulations to all those officers who have been appointed to new posts in the organisation, and may I take the opportunity on behalf of the Council to thank all those officers who are leaving the organisation for all their hard work they've done over the years and wish them well for the future. I've had a few members ask me about Essex Highways and problems I've had reporting certain issues. Certain members have been told that if you've got a problem with Essex Highways, whether it be potholes, whether it be lighting, you must go through your Essex Highway member. That is not actual factual. Every member of this council is entitled to report if you want through your Essex member, but if you can't contact your Essex member or you don't get any replies from your Essex member, may I suggest then you go direct to Essex Highways website, which you can. Also, there's a number members can phone, 0345 758 5592, which will put you direct to Essex Highways, where you can report any incidents you want to report. And may I suggest members that may be a good way to do it. As this is the last ordinary council before Christmas, members, may I wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor. Members, is the report noted? We also have a report from the Cabinet Member for Strategic Planning, which has been circulated. Councillor Gibson, would you like to take the report?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. If you could all bear with me, I wouldn't normally read the full report, but I think something of this importance does need reading out in full. The purpose of this report is to provide Council with an update on progress on the new Castle Point plan and the implications of the withdrawal of the Castle Point local plan 2018 to 2033, sometimes better known as the 2019 local plan. On the 30th of November 2022, the Council took the decision to prepare a new local plan, the Castle Point plan. This followed the unanimous decision of Council to withdraw the Castle Point plan on the 15th of June 2022. It has now been 1 year, almost to the day, that we started the preparation of the new plan. And as the chair of the Castle Point Plan Board, established to bring all parties together to foster cross-party support, it seems appropriate that I provide an update to Council on the progress. I also want to look at the impact of withdrawing the plan and how we are managing the risks of that withdrawal. Firstly, I would like to thank all the members of the Castle Point Plan Board for their input into work to date. We established the board to build consensus, and whilst we may have our disagreements, the board is a forum for those to be aired and properly discussed. I would also like to say thank you to our officers for their advice, candidness and drive. You need to remember that they sat and watched us withdraw a plan that they had tirelessly worked on. So it's a real credit that Amanda Parrott and her team have been able to provide such leadership. We have 4 key objectives for the plan. 1 is to have a plan based on our robust housing needs assessment. 2, we need to have a plan that identifies and prioritises brownfield and urban sites. 3, have a plan that protects the Greenbelt. And 4, probably most importantly, we need to have a plan that the community wants. I'm pleased to say that we have recently completed the work on the needs assessment, and I could advise the Council that our locally assessed needs is 100 units per annum less than the standard methodology that the government use. We are confident in our approach that it is sound. The needs report will be published shortly. In preparing the needs assessment, the consultants, ORS, interviewed just over 500 local residents on what their needs were. The standard methodology is merely an algorithm which is detached from the realities of need. I am pleased that the government has followed our lead and decided that local assessments are the way forward. We are not against development in the borough. We have a statutory and moral obligation to ensure that there are enough homes, but we want to identify what that need is with our local communities rather than imposing it on them. The second objective was a brownfield and urban first approach. I am pleased to advise the council that we employed an AI company to trawl all the urban areas and identify hundreds of sites that met certain criteria and could be developed or redeveloped. The initial phase of this work has been completed and officers are in the process of contacting the landowners of these sites identified to see whether they have any plans for development or open their eyes to the potential and test what the development potential is. This will tell us in the most comprehensive fashion imaginable just what the maximum capacity is for our urban areas. This is not a final piece, however, and after this phase we will need to test what the impacts will be on infrastructure, traffic demands and the character of our towns. But we said that we would explore everything like never before, and that is what we have done and what we will continue to do. Once we fully understand the urban capacity, then we look at whether we need land elsewhere. Our objective remains, as it always has, to protect the Greenbelt. So over the coming months, we will look at how our need can be met in full and in a way that is sound and delivers the right homes for the right people in the right places, with infrastructure, and we build quality places. It's only through these robust assessments will the council be able to protect the Greenbelt. Finally, we're engaging local residents, businesses and partners at the earliest opportunity to ensure that the plan delivers what the people want. Unfortunately, many people do not feel they have their say on the future of where they live. That leads to mistrust in plan making and mistrust in the council in general. We are addressing this by giving a greater say to the people who live and work here in what the future of the borough should be and the issues that the plan should address. This engagement is an ongoing process, and to date over 1,500 people have participated. Now, the next part of the report is about the withdrawing of the previous plan. No one takes the decision to withdraw a local plan lightly. Withdrawing a local plan at any stage has its consequences. In both the report on adopting the plan in March 2022 and the report on withdrawing a plan in June 2022, officers set out in some detail the impact and risks. Let's be clear. The withdrawn plan was found sound. However, the council, across all parties, agreed not to adopt the plan and thereby not to implement the plan, as it allocated vast areas of the Greenbelt that residents did not want to see developed. The only option to the council to strengthen our position to defend the Greenbelt was to withdraw the plan. Had we not done so, officers would have to take the sound but unadopted plan into account when determining applications on the allocated sites. They would have had to afford the plan very significant weight, and if an application was in accordance with that plan, most likely they would have to recommend approval. By withdrawing a plan, the plan's policies and proposals no longer apply. Had the sound but unadopted plan remained in place, we could not have argued that applications made in accordance with that plan were being made prematurely, as the plan had been examined and been found to be sound. Prematurity arguments are allowed where a proposal is made before a plan has been examined, and we cannot be sure that a proposal is sound. Withdrawing a plan has also enabled us to prepare a new plan unencumbered by a sound, unadopted plan. The weight applied to a plan increases as the plan progresses through the various stages towards adoption. With a sound unadopted plan remaining, it would be difficult to argue that a proposal is premature in relation to the new plan we are preparing. This is because any new proposals will need to go through the whole plan making process and to be found sound to override the sound unadopted plan. By withdrawing a plan, the proposals in the new plan will gain in weight as they are progressed. We are now receiving applications on sites that were allocated in the withdrawn plan. We warned this would happen, but we cannot stop developers from submitting them. However, it's worth pointing out that fewer have been submitted than we would have expected had the plan not been withdrawn. I do not wish to predetermine the decision-making process on those applications, but the best way to defence against speculative development is by putting a local plan in place. Unfortunately, the process for doing so takes time. We have started completely afresh. After five attempts with an approach that did not work, because we have to comply with the processes for preparing plans set by central government. We aim to maintain a joint working across all parties and engagement with our residents. Whatever we do, there will always be people that oppose the plan, but we remain committed to preparing a plan which the people of this borough want. So in conclusion, we are making good progress preparing a new plan for Castle Point, and we are still on track to deliver against the programme we set out last November. This will see our position strengthen when dealing with Greenbelt applications over the next year. I will provide further updates as we reach key stages in preparing a plan and continue to work with board members to ensure effective cross-party involvement. And if I may, Madam Mayor, as I was reading that report, section 3.18, there is actually a typo at the end of the paragraph where it says was not to adopt a plan. That should have been, and as I read out, withdraw the plan. So we can just make a note of that. And thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you, Councillor. Members, is the report noted? Thank you. Item 13. There is a notice of motion from Councillor Skip. Sorry, bear with me. So yes, Councillor Skip, if you'd like to put your motion forward.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. We call on this council to begin work on its own parking standards supplementary planning document for adoption by the council to provide the material planning considerations needed to adequately address parking concerns faced by the planning progress. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Hart, I believe you're seconding.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to second that, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so as the motion has budget implications, the motion will be deferred without debate for a report to Cabinet Council Procedure 13. Rule 13 applies, so the motion will not be dealt with at this meeting.
So, Madam Mayor, would I be allowed to make a point on the motion?
I'll just take advice. Sorry, Councillor, no.
No? Okay, I'm just surprised that Councillor Hart seconded it when we were already dealing with this through the local plan board.
Councillor.
Yep, sorry, apologies, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. Item 14, there are no petitions. Item 15, recommendations to Council transforming together the outcome of Tier 2 and 3 organisation restructure. There's information in Appendix C is before the Council. There are confidential appendices A and B, and they're going to be circulated. If we just take a moment for Ms Horgan to distribute. Thank you. Okay, so you have the confidential appendices. Unless councillors have questions on the confidential appendices, I'm going to deal with the report in public. So are there any questions on the confidential appendices that have just been distributed? No questions. Thank you. So I'm going to ask the Chief Executive to present the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Members, this report is part of the Council's transformation programme and the appointments and dismissals arising from it. Some of the recommendations are for noting because they're decisions which fall to me as Head of Paid Service and are reported to you for transparency. Some of the recommendations are for endorsement because they're Chief Officer appointments made by the members of the Staff Appointments and Review Panel following a robust and comprehensive assessment process. And one of the recommendations requires your approval, please, members, because the post is a statutory chief officer role and responsibility for decision-making in respect of that post rests with full council. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Blackwell, as leader, will you be moving the recommendations?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would like to move the recommendation.
Thank you. Councillor Gibson, as Deputy, will you second?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'll happily second the motion.
Thank you. Council, the recommendations are set out in the report. Are the recommendations agreed? Agreed. Okay, so that concludes the items on the agenda, and there is no other business. It just brings me to say thank you very much, as this is our last ordinary council meeting of the calendar year. I wish you all a very happy Christmas and a very, very good new year, and I will see you very soon. Thank you very much and good night.
If council would please stand while the mayor leaves the chamber, and if councillors would please leave the confidential papers, I'll collect them and destroy them.
I'll just sign this quickly. Do I bubble below? Yep.